Forbes India Leadership Awards.
Rana Daggubati, welcome to the Forbes India Leadership Awards.
Thank you, sir. Thank you very much. Hello, good evening to everyone here.
You're an established star down south, and you've made a name for yourself in the Hindi film industry as well. In the last couple of years, we've seen South Indian films gaining immense popularity and doing wonders at the box office as well. Clearly, the geographical boundaries have blurred as far as content is concerned. What would you attribute this to?
Well, it's a moment that had to happen and it just delayed and it happened, is what I think. There was always times when a few filmmakers always made films that kind of cut across. If you see the late 80s and the early 90s when Ram Gopal Verma was a filmmaker and Mr. Mani Ratnam was an early filmmaker, like a film like Roja cut across time, a film like Shiva cut across. But there was no industry that was building a unified pan-Indian space. And I think it's two things that led to it. One, some dream of filmmakers to making bigger and bigger films. So in that direction, they explored bigger markets, and Telugu films got to Hindi, Hindi films got to Tamil, and so on. And that went on creating a pan-Indian film industry. And I think I was part of that, the best moment that could have happened with Baahubali. And the advent of OTT kind of changed what cinema you see. The audience is now exposed to a lot more cultural part of the country that they never were. I know I have a lot of friends in Bombay, especially who live in South Bombay. They don't even watch Hindi films, they don't watch English films either. They watch European and some very niche French cinema. And they started talking to me about Malayalam cinema, and I said, okay, now things have really blurred and changed.
Like you mentioned, you starred in a pan-India blockbuster, Baahubali, 5-6 years ago. Since then, the metrics of success have changed. There's a 100 crore club, there's a 200 crore club. Now, like you said, there's an OTT, and you talk about a most viewed film. As someone who owns a production house, I want to know, how does one define the success of a movie or a creative project in today's time?
Well, if a story is made in the right cost and it goes to the intended audiences that the filmmakers have intended it to, and it makes money for everyone who's invested in it, that's a success metrics. Now, I'm 37 years old, but I work for a company that's about 60 years old. So the company has seen a lot of changes over time in what you measure success as. And that yardstick will keep changing, but ultimately it's the right story to tell.
You're an astute investor as well. You're invested in businesses ranging from a business accelerator to a tech startup. What do you look for when you decide to put in your money in something, and how involved are you in these businesses?
So my investing really started in trying to make better films. If you see other industries in the West, whether it's Hollywood or others, they have the tech industry backing it. They have a lot of Silicon Valley companies that are backing it. And the organizations are really 360 because they're experts from each of the other fields. But in India, which has like 6 or 7 large film industries, still doesn't speak to the tech in that same city. I mean, look at, say, a city like Bombay. The IT world and the film world don't even meet. So now that was really why I started investing. So it started with visual effects. It moved into, because we had a lot of content that we produced over years. It was, how do we syndicate and distribute our content better? Then that's when blockchain and that world opened up for us. So it started with media tech, moved into consumer brand, and in between, this is where my life is in investing.
You're also the co-owner of Hyderabad FC in the ISL. The football club won the championship, the title, some days ago. You must be a happy man. What are your thoughts on the victory?
Well, it's amazing to see a team that was so young to come all the way flying up. I've been associated with early stage teams when Kabaddi began, now with football, and I think it's amazing that many more sports are getting viewership in India in the mainstream platform than cricket is. So yes, it's a very encouraging time.
You're also invested in a health and wellness company. So when you decide to put in your money in these ventures, are you trying to inculcate good habits in people as well, whether it's staying fit or playing a sport?
Okay. I didn't think of it that way, but see, culture is what we invest in, right? I'm a movie maker, I'm a storyteller, I'm an actor. So stories is what we invest, so that's culture. So if sport can become a culture, if fitness can become a culture, wellness becomes a culture. So I think it's subconsciously wanting to build culture that's right. So yeah, you can say that.
What is more challenging, selecting a film or investing in a company, and what gives you greater satisfaction?
That's making a film for sure is far harder than investing. I've had far more success in investing in places than making movies. So see, because in investing at least there's a quick turnaround in terms of learning. You don't make the same mistake twice very fast. But in the movies, it's like this: you make a film and then you have to unlearn everything that you made to make an entirely new and different story. So it's also very satisfying, which is why I also connected very well with the startup world when I started, because I'm like, okay, we just are doing the same thing in a different form.
Have your fame and stardom helped you or enabled you to do something that you always wanted to do?
Oh yes, for sure. I mean, I think it creates access. Because of the cinema that I've done, there's a likability that you've built, and that likability will transfer into any entrepreneur or a startup that's kind of building and wanting to be out there. So that's really where we add value, where we can bring your brand out and showcase it out the best way it should be.
What next for Rana Daggubati? Could you shed light on your professional and business plans?
Well, what's next is always a tricky one. Well, I continue to do films, and as an actor, I will continue to find more and more avenues to open newer cinema. Now I'm actually, this is the first show that I'm doing for a platform, and I think as time goes, there will be so many newer ways of engaging in storytelling. That's what's changed. The audience and the way people receive stories has changed. So I'll just keep open and just finding newer things to do.
Right, Rana Daggubati, we wish you all the best. Thank you so much for your time, and thanks a lot for coming here.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, guys. Thank you very much.
Forbes India Leadership Awards.